Hey guys, welcome back to Purely Walking. I know what you're gonna say right off the bat.
Girl, what happened to your voice?
Well guys, I've been dealing with a big cold during this whole week and it's affected my voice, but it doesn't matter because I gotta record video for you guys. And this one particularly is very important because I'm going to be talking about the hugest, biggest, most scandalous fraud and scams that have been going on here in the Dominican Republic. Now, I always talk about this channel, the positive side of the DR, you know how cool it is to be here, the fact that there's a whole vibe over here. But it is also my responsibility to give you guys the real deal on some things that have been going on. And unfortunately, this is about those huge real estate scams that have recently been brought to light in the Dominican Republic. I'm going to talk about the two biggest ones, particularly that have recently come out and are in the justice system as we speak. I'm going to talk about what they entail, how they scammed people, and exactly what the status is on those cases. And towards the end, I'm going to try to give you some tips if you are wanting to invest in the Dominican Republic real estate market, which is hot and booming right now, how you can prevent yourself from being scammed. So let's get into it. Let me take a minute to remind you to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Most of the people that watch my videos aren't even subscribed, and I'm just like, why is that? You know, just go ahead and subscribe. It's completely free, it's easy, and you get all the info on Dominican Republic that you want. These two cases that I'm going to be talking about are particularly interesting, first because of the amount of money that these people were able to rob, and secondly because a huge international company was actually used, like the name of this company was used to defraud all these people. Now I'm going to be talking about the biggest case first because I don't want to leave the best for last, guys. This case entails the robbery of just about, hold on to your seats, 18 million US dollars. Yes, that's correct. The people in this case were actually able to rob that amount of money by selling inexistent real estate to investors. And how were they able to do this? Well, first of all, they used a very well-known international company, which is none other than RE/MAX, to do this. The company that is involved in this case is called Novasco Real Estate. This company was formed in 2021. Now, what happened was they formed this company of like construction company, and then one of the accomplices, she actually bought one of the franchises for RE/MAX Regional. So RE/MAX Regional, if you didn't know, is actually selling off franchises so people can use their name to sell properties. Now, this person bought a specific one called RE/MAX 1. They made aggressive publicity campaigns on social media. And of course, with the RE/MAX name on top of it, they were able to capture a lot more clients, counting on the fidelity of this company. Because as we know, RE/MAX is one of the biggest real estate agencies in the world. So the lady that brought the RE/MAX franchise actually went off to sell the real estate properties that were being constructed by Novasco Real Estate. Now, what Novasco Real Estate actually did was they found random lots, one particularly in La Romana, and the other one mentioned in the case is in Bávaro. They found them for sale, and before they even approached anyone to buy the land, they actually started selling off the project that they had in mind to sell. Now, the project that they had in mind was actually mind-bogglingly, incredibly undoable because one of the projects was actually sold to consumers as one project that would have none other than 16 swimming pools and, get this, a water park, okay? They sold this thing like it was gonna be the next Disney World in DR, basically. So they not only sold it as an incredible feat, but they also sold it at a really cheap price. We're talking there were units for around $35,000 or $36,000. And that was a huge red flag that I'm sure now those investors in retrospect should have seen coming, because the price was too good and the amenities were too exciting and way too over the top to be able to actually be doable for a project in this area. Now, the second project in Bávaro was actually sold by supposedly having, get this, 32 swimming pools and 2 water parks, all right? So it was incredible, apparently, and it was also sold for very extremely cheap prices, way under for what the market was selling at the time. Now, when they started taking money from the investors, with that money, they went off to the lot owners, to the landowners of those spots, and they struck a deal with them. Like, they were like, okay, we are legit companies and we want to buy your land. And so the owners were like, okay, great. So they signed a pre-sale agreement. With that agreement in place, then Novasco was actually able to put up huge signs on the lots. They were able to put up a little cart, a little hut for the sale of the units. So everything looked very legit. Obviously, Novasco was never intending to even start to build anything, because when the agreement came up for them to buy the land fully, like when the other payment was due to like buy the land outright, they just basically disappeared on the owners, and they took away the little hut that they had put in place, and they took away the signs and everything. So after they defrauded the people by selling all those units, then they just basically walked away. And as far as I'm told, the women that were in this case actually lived very lavish lifestyles, and they did not hide it through Instagram and through their social media at all. In total, they were able to rob about 122 people. Those are the people named in the actual court case, and they were able to defraud them for an amount of $18 million, which in pesos, it is more than 1,100 million pesos. This case is currently pending trial, and there are 2 people already in jail. There is one that is a fugitive still, which is one of the women involved. And so it's a huge mess, a huge deal. Everybody is outraged, and I am so sorry for those people that got defrauded this way. To this day, the lots of land where they were supposedly gonna build these fantastic water parks and 16 swimming pools and whatever are still untouched. There has not been one shovel, one block, one truck, nothing. Those people were obviously not even trying to build anything. They were just trying to defraud good people of their hard-earned cash. Now, the second case I'm going to talk about is a little bit different, because this one involves a company called INDISARQ, headed by a man called Emmanuel Ledesma. This guy actually owns a construction company, and this construction company actually builds apartments. But what they did was a little bit different, because they had this beautiful tower that people went to buy an apartment, and they showed them the apartment. They drew up the terms of the contract, and they asked for the people for some money up front, which is usually the case, that you give some upfront money in order to buy a property. Now, when the people were ready to get their apartment, after all is said and done and all the T's are crossed and all the I's are dotted, comes to see that this apartment was sold to multiple clients. So they had apartments that they would sell a single apartment to a lot of people. So people would find like their locks were changed, they were never given the keys to the apartment in some cases. Some other cases, there were people actually already living in the apartment, so it was never theirs to begin with. It was all a huge debacle. Now, when people found out that they were being defrauded, they actually confronted Mr. Emmanuel, and he actually had the audacity to actually threaten his own people that he defrauded.
¿Tú quieres que te la pongo en China? ¿Tú quieres que te la pongo en China?
Ok, está bien.
¿Tú sabes con quién tú estás hablando?
Está bien. Está bien, usted es
¿Tú
el
sabes con
come
quién tú estás
hombre.
hablando?
El come hombre.
¿Usted me va a dar el dinero, sí o no? Cuando me dé mi maldita gana, ya yo te dije. Usted no me está entendiendo lo que te estoy diciendo, y haz lo que tú quieras.
Incluso llega a advertir que no devolverá el dinero, como lo demuestra este otro audio.
Resuelve, porque ni te voy a devolver el dinero, y te voy a desbaratar en la justicia, voy a hacer contigo lo que yo quiera. Porque ni voy a hacer el edificio, ni te voy a devolver el dinero.
Como tú dijiste ahí que tú vas a la fiscalía y a la prensa, ve, para que tú sepas quién soy yo. Ve,
Ok.
para que allá te enteres. ¿Tú crees que yo soy un rastrero pata por suelo como tú? Yo soy un empresario, un muchacho de mierda.
Ok.
Tú eres loco,
Ok.
Eres loco que tú eres.
Ok.
Cuando mucho estoy yo haciendo que estoy hablando contigo.
Ok, ajá.
Y a mí no me escriba, usted llama a la oficina.
Ajá.
Yo no hablo con crápula ni chusma tampoco.
So when people were asked for the money back, he would be like, I'm gonna give you the money whenever the F I want. I don't care what you do. You can do anything you want. So he would tell people this type of thing. So they would basically not pursue anything. He would actually threaten them and make them feel like he's a powerful man and whatnot. What these people lawyered up, and now it's in the process of being investigated. Now, Emmanuel is currently in jail, thankfully, but it did take a long time for the judicial system to catch up to him and actually put him there. So it wasn't an easy peasy thing, and a lot of people lost their life savings. This case actually brought a lot of emotional stress on people because some people even sold their one and only home to be able to get the money to buy these luxurious apartments that this man was selling. I also heard of a cancer patient that needed the money back to receive cancer treatment, and even so, this man was so mean and evil that he will not even flinch to never give this client their money back. Now, I don't want to fearmonger you if you are wanting to buy real estate in the Dominican Republic. Of course, thousands of units are sold. I'm not sure what the amount is, but this market is quite dynamic. It's very highly growing here in the DR, and it's a very beautiful thing to be able to buy a piece of heaven in this little paradise we call Dominican Republic. So I don't want you to fear if you want to go in and buy an apartment here, because of course the things that we mostly hear in the news are the negative things. They're never gonna go on the news and say, well, we successfully sold this amount of units today in the Dominican Republic, hooray. No, they're not gonna say that. They're going to come out just with the cases that are fraudulent or that were not successful. So I don't want you to be discouraged by these news. I want you to be informed, and I want you to be on the lookout for some red flags. So what are those things that you should be looking for in order to determine if you should invest or not in the project? First of all, if the price is too good to be true, and if the amenities seem even unreal for the price, then that's a huge red flag that that project is probably made up, like what happened in the first case that I mentioned. Also, you should be looking into the company. Is the company registered under any specific association, reputable association like ACOPROBI, which are the construction companies association here in the Dominican Republic? Even though that is a good indicator, it's not something that's gonna be for sure the company is legit, but it is a good indicator nonetheless. Also, if you are abroad and you're not able to come here to the Dominican Republic and see everything for yourself, lawyer up and have that lawyer screen everything. Have them screen the seller, have them screen the company that is building the unit, have them screen the documents that make this sale legit so you can be more secure on this sale. Also, don't be afraid to ask for information of previous buyers and previous experience for this seller that you are talking to about your unit or your apartment or your land. Make sure they have good experiences with other clients, and you can ask them to give you contacts if you need to, so you can contact the previous buyers yourself if you want to. Just don't be afraid to ask any information that will give you peace of mind when buying from someone. Now, I want you to comment down below if you have heard of any of these scams that have been going on in our country, and any other tips that you may have when buying land or property here in the Dominican Republic. This is all for now, guys, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. This is me signing out, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.